was elected to Congress in 1982. In fact, I was the only Republican in the country to defeat an incumbent Democrat in the country that year. And I went down to Washington, and I was 30 years old, which was really pretty amazing. And I got myself on the Armed Services Committee. The Armed Services Committee is a committee that was very united. Republicans and Democrats, there wasn't a dime's worth of difference because we had one common enemy, and that was the Soviet Union. And all we were committed to is to figure out how to destroy them and bring that Berlin Wall down and get people to be in a position of where they could recognize their God-given destinies. Well, I was on that committee for 6 years, and I thought Congress was a pretty good place to be. In my 7th year, I got myself appointed to the Budget Committee in the Congress, and I went to my very first meeting. And I was absolutely aghast at what I saw there. Republicans and Democrats were viciously attacking one another, calling each other names, personal attacks, and they were fighting over their different plans for the budget. So I took a look at the Democrat proposal, and I didn't think much of it. And then I took a look at George Bush's proposal, and I hate to tell you this, but I didn't think it was worth anything either. So I went back to Columbus, and I was really kind of beside myself, and I was driving my Jeep Wrangler, and I was running out of gas, and I pulled in Johnny's Union 76 at the corner of Schrock and Cleveland, right outside of Westerville, my hometown. And I'm filling up my gas tank, and I'm complaining about this, how terrible the situation is. The owner of the gas station, he hears me, sees me. He walks around the pump and he says, you know, I'm hearing you bellyache an awful lot about what's going on down there. You know, we're paying you salary, we elected you. You know, what are you going to do about this? So I drove back to my house because we didn't have cell phones at the time, and I called Washington, and a couple of my staff people got on a telephone. And I said, we are going to write a budget for the United States of America. And they were saying, John, we think that somebody busted into the phone connection because we thought we heard something really crazy. And I said, well, wait till I get down there on Monday. So I flew down to Washington and called my 5 or 6 staff people into my office, and I said, look, we're gonna write a budget for the United States that is a serious effort to try to get the budget balanced and, in my opinion, save the country. They said, John, down at the White House, there's at least 100 people working on the budget. And up here on Capitol Hill, there's probably another 100 people working on the budget up here, and we got 6 people. I said, I know that we're slightly overstaffed, but if we can stay out of each other's way, we can get this done. So we started putting together a proposal for what we thought was the best way to run the United States of America. Now, the Budget Committee, where you debate the philosophy of government, is like the WWF. It gets interesting, but you know how it's going to come out in the end. The majority party always wins. So we voted that year in 1989 on the Democrat budget proposal. You need 218 votes to win, and it got more than the 218 votes and passed. And then we voted on the George Bush budget, and it got slightly less than 218 votes. And then we voted on the John Kasich budget. Now, the vote in 1989 was 393 against the Kasich budget and 30 for the Kasich budget. Now, when they take the vote in the House of Representatives, they flash all these numbers up and they calculate them, and you can see all the red and all the green, and red is no and green is yes. It was like losing to Michigan 67-3 in the minds of most people. I went back to my office, and my staff was very depressed because they'd done a lot of work on this. And I said, I have no understanding of what you're depressed about. There are 29 other crazy people who voted for the mailman's son budget. We're just getting started on this. Get ready for next year. So the next year came.